How can you turn your table saw into a power sander? It's been years since I had access to a large belt or disc sander, and I've instead relied on hand tools for all sanding. But I've missed the ease of shaping wood with large, stationary power sanders. I didn't feel like buying an expensive new tool and making room for it. But I stumbled onto a kit that would let me both cross-purpose my table saw and make it more accurate at the same time. And that's what I'm talking about today on The Honest Carpenter Show. If you're just now getting into power tools and you want some really in-depth advice about all the most important ones, be sure to check out my new online course, Power Tools Explained. It's 3 hours of high-quality tutorials on all the major power tools, and it's available right now at thehonestcarpenter.com along with some great free guides. When it comes down to it though, table saws and disc sanders operate in very similar ways, with a metal disc extending up through a table and rotating towards the operator. The only difference is that we feed material through the edge of a table saw blade, but press stock to the face of a disc sander. Otherwise, the disc in question is the only thing that really changes. And that's why these little conversion kits are so helpful. All they consist of is a flat 10-inch metal disc with a 5/8 arbor hole. Then 10-inch sandpaper pads, which can be purchased separately or sometimes in a bundle. The disc itself is interesting because it's actually dual purpose. And its first purpose is to help you calibrate your saw. The disc is machined to be extremely flat and true. So when you mount it to your blade arbor, it gives you a highly accurate surface to test your table saw alignment. Pin dials can be used to read its relation to the miter slots. Or if you don't have a calibration dial, a large combo square will work for most users. You can just take careful measurements at both the front and back of the disc with the combo handle pressed to the wall of the miter slot. My blade is already true, but if it weren't, I could loosen these 2 screws beneath the back rail and lightly knock the bracket either way to true it up. And fences can also be tested against the disc. If I need to adjust mine, I can do it by backing off this little screw and tweaking sideways. So the disc is very helpful for reliable calibration. But by sticking a sandpaper pad to one face, it also quickly converts into a disc sander. To do this, you can just mark and cut out the 5/8 arbor hole by mapping it from the disc itself. Then you can adhere the sandpaper with a peel and stick system. I just line it up by eye and press it on flat. After that, the disc installs like normal. I unplug the saw like always, keeping the plug visible. Then I slide the disc onto the arbor, tighten it on with the washer and nut, and drop the throat plate back into place. After that, just stand aside and flip it on, and it's pretty much indistinguishable from a disc sander. This 120 grit is fairly aggressive, so the moment you make contact, you start removing material pretty quickly. I roughed out this big radius in a matter of seconds, and I could easily clean it up further by hand. This would help so much in situations where I might otherwise have to use a jigsaw for outside rounded shapes. For safety, you just have to remember that you should only sand on the downstroke side of the disc. That's the side near the front of the saw. Because the upstroke backside will totally launch a piece, and you have to avoid that. And it only spins at the normal rate of a table saw, which is about 4,000 RPMs, and that's pretty fast. You can't dial it down like you could on some disc sanders, so you have to use very gentle pressure. But for roughly a $40 accessory, I really think you can't beat it, especially since it's multifunctional and will help you adjust your table saw accuracy with ease. So if you're interested, I'll link several brands and models below, as well as some sanding pads. And be sure to check out thehonestcarpenter.com for Power Tools Explained and our free guides. As always, thanks for watching, and I hope you'll consider subscribing. I'm Ethan James with thehonestcarpenter.com. I'll see you next time.